Back in 2007, Chuck Lorre's Big Bang Theory crept onto the scene with the subtlety of a neutron bomb and immediately set the world on fire. The charming sitcom explored the hilariously complicated lives of four brilliant but socially awkward friends and their interactions with the world outside their scientific bubble. Though awkward and difficult at first, the nerds eventually busted out of their comfort zones and built friendships and relationships with people both similar and much different from them. These bonds within the group highlighted that friendship and love can transcend all major and minor differences. So as the Big Bang Theory grew from a sitcom about nerd culture into a heartwarming exploration of friendship and the beauty of being unapologetically yourself, so did the age and number of actors on the show, and as funny and heartfelt as the show was, it eventually came to an end after 13 years on air, and it has currently been 5 years since we last saw our favorite geeks on TV, but not the actors. So in the spirit of being sentimental, today we are going to look at how the actors from the show and their careers have aged since we last saw them in lab coats and superhero tees. But before we get right into the then and now portion of the video, a touch of support by subscribing to the channel would still go a long way. First on the list, we have theoretical physicist Sheldon Cooper.
Although it's more likely that you will spend your scientific careers teaching 5th graders how to make papier-mâché volcanoes of baking soda lava.
Given Sheldon's disdain for experimental physics and all the other sciences, we felt it was safe and in character to emphasize the theoretical part so as to appease any smartasses out there. Jim Parsons was 34 years old when he debuted the character of Sheldon. With an IQ of 187, Sheldon was known for his strict routines and lack of social awareness. His journey from a socially inept genius to a more empathetic friend and partner was central to the series and a representation of the themes we think the show was going for. As for Jim, he played Sheldon so well that the world actually thought he was him. But since the show ended, Jim diversified, taking on roles that prove he can act without a whiteboard and a superhero emblem on his t-shirt. Today, at 51, he looks great, still rocking his signature smile and spotting some facial hair. My guess is that he is still trying to shake off the Sheldon comparisons, but that's just the only downside of bringing to life an iconic character. Next up, we have Sheldon's roommate, Leonard Hofstadter. Leonard was not only Sheldon's roommate, but also his best friend. He was the group's de facto mediator, and often the one with enough balls to wrangle with Sheldon while trying not to crumble under his insecurities. Johnny Galecki was 31 years old when he landed the role. An experimental physicist with an IQ of 173, Leonard was your typical Hollywood interpretation of the nice nerd. You know, the one who dreams of romance and somehow lands the hot girl out of his league. But Leonard's lengthy journey to that feat is what makes his story stand out. Throughout the show, we watch his growth from a timid scientist to a confident individual. Johnny was already a seasoned actor before the Big Bang Theory, but after the insane popularity of the show, he was catapulted to even greater heights in his career, but has ultimately decided to keep a relatively low profile. Today, he is 49 years old. Up next on the list, we have Penny. Kaylee Cuoco was only 21 years old when she first portrayed the now iconic character of Penny. When we first meet Penny, we easily write her off as the token hot girl next door. But as the show went on, she became the heart of the group. Penny's charm lied in her ability to cut through the group's nerdy nonsense with a quick, sarcastic quip, proving you don't need a PhD to be the smartest person in the room. Also, her street-smart demeanor and contrasting personality brought a much-needed balance to the group, highlighting the intersection of different worlds. After the show left the air, Kaylee's career rocketed to the big screen with her starring in a string of hits and her fair share of tax write-offs. Today, at the age of 39, Kaylee is a Hollywood powerhouse and has aged beautifully, showing that life after nerds is full of glamour and success. Next on the list, we have Rajesh. Kunal Nayyar was only 26 years old when he first donned the character of Raj. Raj was the introvert of the friend group who originally couldn't speak to women without alcohol, until one bad breakup had him soberly chew Penny's ear off, and eventually every other broad on the show. Raj provided a humorous yet heartfelt exploration of social anxiety and the quest for love, and even though by the end of the series Raj doesn't get a neatly tied up happy ending, which is realistic, but also kind of a bummer. We can honestly say he was a far cry from the guy we initially met on the pilot. Today, Kunal is 43 years old, has a strong-ass beard game, and has traded Raj's awkwardness for leading man energy. He's taken on darker, grittier roles that scream, "I'm not just the guy who talked to his dog about his love life." Simon Helberg was only 27 years old when he would become the 2007 face of the Edgar haircut. An aerospace engineer with a master's degree from MIT, Howard was known for his flamboyant fashion sense, living with an overbearing mother who sounded like a pack of Marlboro Reds come to life, and being a wannabe ladies' man whose pickup lines were better suited for a restraining order. His transformation was one of the most satisfying on the show, as his journey from a walking HR violation to a loving husband and father was proof that even the creepiest caterpillar can become a butterfly. Today, Simon is 44 years old and has gone on to take roles that showcase his range, including dramatic parts that remind us he's more than just the guy with pants more colorful than a French musical. Moving up the list, next up we have Bernadette. Melissa Rauch's first appearance on the show was on the 3rd season, and was just 29 years old when she became a series regular. A fun-sized microbiologist with a voice so high it could shatter glass, Bernadette was the Juliet to Howard's horny Romeo, and a catalyst for his personal growth from an HR office regular to a loving family man. With a smile so bright it could light up the dark spot between 11:59 and midnight, Bernadette was like a Disney princess come to life. But don't let her sweet looks and size fool you. She came with a kick. Bernadette was an occasionally terrifying no-nonsense wife and mother, with a sass so fierce it could rival that of a Rocky Horror Picture Show production. After the show, Melissa proved her talents extended far beyond the lab coat and helium voice by embracing new roles, and still looks as fabulous as ever at the age of 44. And finally, we have Amy. Mame was only 34 years old when she first debuted as Amy in the finale of the 3rd season. She started out as a female Sheldon clone, but slowly evolved into her own person. She was smart, quirky, and surprisingly sassy, and to no one's surprise, eventually got together with Sheldon. Although it wasn't your ordinary relationship on the count of the bizarre courtship rituals and awkward hand-holding, it was still a relationship, and also a reminder that no matter how different you might be, there will always be someone out there to match your freak. Today, Mame is 49 years old and has continued her acting career and engaged in various projects, including hosting and producing, while also maintaining her advocacy for science and education.